Top 10 poorest countries in the world 2021 as determined by the World Bank's World Development Indicators. Hello and welcome to this channel. If you are new here and you haven't subscribed yet, then you might want to consider subscribing and hit the notification bell button so you won't miss any upload. Before we proceed with our top 10 on the list, let me just define some terms with you. To measure a nation's economic income, their gross national income or GNI needs to be calculated. The gross national income or GNI is the total income received by the country from its residents and businesses regardless of whether they are located in the country or abroad. GNI measures the total economic activity based on the income paid to generate the output that sums up the gross domestic product or GDP. GDP or gross domestic product is a number that will ultimately indicate the overall economic health of the country. GDP per capita or gross domestic product per capita measures the country's economic output per person and is calculated in dividing the GDP of a country by its population. GNI per capita is the gross national income or GNI converted to US dollars using the World Bank Atlas method divided by the median population of the country. And here are the top 10 poorest countries in the world. Number 10, Afghanistan. GNI per capita, $1,647. Afghanistan is located in Central Asia with a population of 40,073,188. Afghanistan has been stereotyped as the country with chronic warfare. Due to the civil and political unrest in the country, proper economic investments and development have been difficult to achieve. Following the 9/11 attack on the the U.S. military has forced their presence in the country. But as of August 30, 2021, U.S. forces has completely withdrawn from Afghanistan. Number 9, Sierra Leone. GNI per capita, $1,348. Population, 8,189,329. Sierra Leone is a small country in West Africa. It is one of the poorest countries on the continent, and the reasons for this are complicated. The country was ravaged by a brutal civil war from 1991 to 2002, which left its economy and infrastructure in shambles. Other reasons for the country's persistent poverty include widespread internal corruption, a lack of civil liberties, and a lack of accessible education. Number 8, Madagascar. GNI per capita, $1,339. Population, 28,624,066. Madagascar is an island nation and biodiversity hotspot located off the coast of Southeast Africa. Though Madagascar has a rich diversity of unique flora and fauna, it is one of the poorest countries in Africa from an economic point of view. Approximately 69% of the population of the country lives below the poverty level threshold of $1 a day. Number 7, Mozambique. GNI per capita, $1,100. Population, 32,163,047. Mozambique is a Southeast African country and one of the poorest and least developed countries in the world. However, with financial aid from organizations like the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund or IMF, Mozambique has exhibited a positive growth trend. The minimum legal salary in Mozambique is around $60 per month. The country faces the problems of chronic child malnutrition, poor literacy rates, improper access to health facilities, and more. Number 6, Liberia. GNI per capita, $1,078. Population, 5,213,214. This Africa's oldest republic is still battling against poverty and has ranked among lists like this for the longest. The end of the civil war in 2003 has brought some peace and stability, but not enough to raise its citizens out of poverty. Corrupt government officials failed to address their citizens' needs, and the Ebola epidemic that hit West Africa in 2014 did not help the economy at all. Number 5. Malawi. GNI per capita, $1,064. Population, 19,773,778. Malawi is a landlocked country in Southeast Africa that covers an area of 118,000 square kilometers. Malawi is among the world's least developed nations, and agriculture contributes to over 90% of the export revenues of the country. Previously, Malawi was heavily dependent on the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, or IMF, for financial aid. The high rates of corruption prevalent in the country soon discouraged the international agencies from providing monetary help to the country. High rates of HIV/AIDS, poor literacy rates, poor health and hygiene, corruption, landlocked geography, and etc. are some of the factors responsible for the country's low per capita income levels. Number 4. Niger. GNI per capita, $906. Population, 25,350,908. Niger is a West African landlocked nation with over 80% of the country's land area covered by the Sahara Desert. The non-desert sections of the country are threatened by frequent periods of drought and also increasing desertification. Niger's economy is mainly based on subsistence with some export of raw materials like uranium ore and a few agricultural commodities. Niger is one of the poorest countries in Africa. High fertility rates, poor health infrastructure, lack of education, landlocked status, desert terrain, and overpopulation are only a few problems that result in the poor economic status of Niger. Number 3. Democratic Republic of Congo, or DRC. GNI per capita, $796. Population, 93,127,665. Democratic Republic of Congo is one of the poorest countries in Africa. Located in Central Africa, it is the continent's second largest country by area. Though nature has endowed DRC with rich natural resources, the country is politically unstable. The high rates of corruption, lack of infrastructure, long years of colonial and commercial exploitation have weakened the economy of the nation. Raw minerals are the biggest exports of DRC, with China being the biggest export partner of the country and accepting more than 50% of the exports. Number 2. Burundi. GNI per capita, $686. Population, 12,354,667. Burundi is an East African landlocked country. It is a resource-poor country where the manufacturing sector is highly underdeveloped. The nation's economy is mainly based on agriculture, which employs 90% of the people but accounts for only slightly over 30% of the GDP. Coffee and tea are the country's primary export items. The country's landlocked geography, low literacy rates, poor legal system, lack of economic freedom, and high rates of HIV/AIDS are barriers to the economic growth of Burundi. Burundians also have to deal with high rates of corruption, poor health facilities, scarcity of food, and weak infrastructure. Number 1. Central African Republic. GNI per capita, $663. Population, 4,939,738. This country encompasses a land area of 240,000 square miles. Though the country has a significant volume of mineral resources and sufficient quantities of arable land, It ranks 187th out of 188 nations in the Human Development Ranking. The landlocked geography and poor economic development of the Central African Republic hinder the export trade in the country. Though diamonds are the most important export of the country, accounting for more than 50% of the export revenue, it is estimated that a large part of it leaves the country clandestinely. The annual real GDP growth of the nation is only about 3%. Though the country is nearly self-sufficient in food crops, the high presence of the tsetse fly makes the country poor in livestock quality. And those are the top 10 poorest countries in the world. Are you able to guess any country that belongs to the list? Comment them down in the comment section below. So I hope you learned something from this video and you find this video interesting. If you do, please hit that like button below, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and share this video with your friends and family. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next one.